The Barstar Podcast, hosted by Stephen O'Reilly, is a podcast about working musicians, their friends, and their opinions. Stephen is a musician in Louisville, Kentucky, who has... Wait a second. This guy's a drummer, not a real musician? Somebody gave a drummer a microphone for his voice? The hell? Unreal. Unbelievable.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Barstar Podcast. I am your host, Stephen O'Reilly. I want to thank you guys for coming back once again to hang out with me and for checking out the show and for your continued support. I say it every week. Well, I've said it a few weeks in a row. You guys are kicking ass and I appreciate it greatly. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody had a good week. And as always, I hope you guys went out and did some shit. Make sure you take time to check out my sponsor, Prophecy Inc., located in the Highlands in Louisville, Kentucky. I have to say Louisville because I have noticed that I'm getting some fans or listeners or supporters of the show that do not live in Louisville. So that is where the show originates from. I am in Louisville, Kentucky, for those of you that do not know. For those of you that do know, yeah, I know, you get it. No shit. This is kind of weird for me. I don't do intros to my shows. I just hit record and whoever I'm hanging out with is in here with me, or if I'm doing a solo show, I just start talking. But now I have to talk about a show I've already done, which is weird. Anyway, this is part 2 of my conversation with Scott Clark. And man, we had a blast when he was in here hanging out. We talked about all kinds of stuff. That dude's got stories for days. Learned a lot about him, which was awesome. I always learn about people that come in and hang out with me. And I learned that the radio business is just like the music business. Full of shit. But whatever. It is what it is. So if you have not checked out part 1 of my conversation with Scott Clark, you need to stop this now. I'll wait. And go check that episode out. When you get done with part 1, come back and check out part 2. We get into all kinds of stuff, like I said a second ago, and we talk about what Scott is listening to, his stories from the stage and the booth, meaning the radio booth, because like I said, he's got story. This is going no. What am I talking about? Who even cares? What? You know what? Here's part 2 of my conversation with Scott Clark.
Simmer Donna, bitches. Calm down. Can't we all just get along?
Apparently not.
I guess not. All
right, so let's move on to stories from the stage booth thingy mabob.
All right. From the stage
really,
or from
the... Really? Music.
Which one you want?
That was good. No, the fucking music.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
So I cut you off mid-sentence because you started talking like everybody does. You tell me you listen to my show and then you forget about the music. The music's the best part of the show.
But you don't play anybody's music but your own or some weird shit. Play who's relevant to the show.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
I don't have that kind of fucking money.
Steal it.
No. I can't do that.
All right.
I can't do that.
All right. Well, everybody else does. All right.
Yeah, but I'm not everybody else. That's why I'm O'Reilly, motherfucker. What you got now?
What you got?
What you got now?
What you want? What you want?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What you want?
What you want?
I play my own, buddy. I don't give a fuck.
I do play my own.
Sue me, motherfucker.
I do play my own music.
Sue me.
I do play my own music. Everything on the show's mine. What I was going to say is I called it Stories from the Stage Booth because I told you I was going to tell you a story. But you get to choose from the booth or the stage or both.
I'm going to do both.
Sweet.
You want the stage or the booth first?
Both.
So I set up, again, I was director of promotions for the Fox, and we had a Disturbed show at Jillian's. Bobby Burke was a showrunner.
Refresh my memory. Jillian's was
where
Silo.
Diamonds is now.
Okay, all right.
And they had the whole building, and it was it was a franchise.
I never got to see it when it was Jillian's.
And it was a franchise around the eastern part of the United States.
Oh no, I've been in one. I just was never in that one.
Yeah.
I've played in a couple of them.
Eric Sanford is a great friend of mine. Bobby Burke, who now works for Bullet Bourbon, great friend of mine.
Gotcha.
He was the showrunner. Eric Sanford was the general manager. They basically took my first meeting with my wife where she wanted to make sure that I wasn't a douchebag. I shouldn't say douchebag. She knew I was a douchebag.
She wanted to make sure that you weren't a perverted creeper fucker that was going to take her in the woods and kill you.
She wanted to make sure I wouldn't kill her, I guess, yeah. Was there. And our 13th anniversary was on the 21st, and I even told Eric Sanford that. So there was a gig at Jillian's with Disturbed. Now, I was the director of promotions, and I was also middays at the time, and Vanetti was doing a lot of time off, so I ended up doing a lot of afternoon shifts.
Right.
Because Vanetti was doing some other stuff with work. And so I had to interview David Draymond from Disturbed. Now, when I did an interview, I did my research.
Right.
I went back and looked. It's like, all right, anybody go, so how's the new album, buddy?
Well,
hey, tell me about that guitar tone.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, you're the singer. I'm sorry. People did that shit all the time. So
Right.
I went back and did some research. And I called, I'm not going to say who it was at the time, Breaking Benjamins, tour manager, and said, give me a story about David Draymond. I'm going to interview him today. And Joey Scolari from Hollywood Records is who it was. I'm telling you, he didn't give a shit. So I told him,
guys,
and
never
he
gonna
goes,
listen to this show.
Ask him about winning the horror contest for Ozfest. And I was like, what is that? He goes, they had an award for whoever the biggest whore was of all the bands, like fucking, I feel bad, having sex with chicks on the band.
Why would you feel bad?
I don't know, I feel bad about saying it like that way. It's misogynistic. Anyway, so I did some research. He said that, so David Draymond comes in. I give him a full-on interview. And when I interviewed bands on the Fox, I interviewed them in two ways. As a musician, cover band, as a musician, and as a fan.
Right.
And as the average person who would want to know something different. And I'd never wanted to be the guy that went, hey, tell me about the tone. Hey, so your great record. Is this on? All right. And they're typing on their keyboard and doing the old radio zoo, blee, blee, and the monkey. I never wanted to do that. I always tried to be engaged and know something about them so they knew that I knew who they were. The whole Nikki Sixx thing where I talked about I knew Brides of Destruction.
Right.
He immediately went, this guy knows my secondary project.
Which, by the way, for people that listen to this show, if you haven't heard that record, go get it. Go find it. It's good.
People forget that Nikki Sixx was the worst bass player ever and the greatest songwriter of the 80s.
I don't know if I go with worst bass player ever, but he is a much better songwriter than he is a bass player.
They tried to fire him in Motley Crue.
Dummies.
And Doc McGee went, he writes all the songs. You can't fire him. Make him sound good. This is a true story. Doc McGee told me that story.
No. I've heard that story too. But
so
you've heard me talk about the Blue Cabinet.
Yeah.
On behind you.
No,
the Brides of Destruction record is in there.
Oh, and
the rest
where's
of my
all
CDs.
where's all your laminates and lanyards?
Oh.
I'm such a star fucker. That ain't shit, son. You should come to my recording studio and see mine.
I know it's not shit, but you know
Mine
you know why
probably,
I keep those? You know why I keep those? Because
you can't sell them.
Motherfucker, I can't give those fuckers away.
I can't give any of mine away.
I keep them for a couple reasons. The total squirrel moment. I've never been signed. I've never been under a contract of any sort with any band. I've never been in a management deal. I've been scouted. A couple of bands I was in been scouted by management, this, that, and the other, and I was offered, you heard the story about me I was supposed to be the drummer for Crossfade. I fucked that up. Every time I've gotten close, something either fucks up or it just gets broken down for whatever reason, but I've never done anything on a, quote, national level or anything big. I keep those lanyards because every one of those I fucking earned. That's why I keep them.
You know why I keep mine?
Because you've done cool shit.
No. It's all I got. Those are my memories. And by the way, the guys in Crossfade, good friends of mine. Great friends of mine. Ed.
Do you know the Crossfade story?
I don't. I would like... Now listen, before we get into this, were you supposed to replace the second guy or the first guy? Because Ed and I can't think of the bass player's name.
I can't remember anybody's name right now. But
Ed the singer. Those guys, they used to call me.
Did you use the L word?
Literally.
Good job. I'm going to do something unorthodox. You're going to talk, and I'm going to walk to the blue cabinet because I'm going to pull something out you've never seen. Keep talking.
All right.
He's talking about Ed.
No. Ed from Crossfade and I became really good friends when they came in town. They came in their first tour when they weren't even famous yet, when they had Looking Back at Me. I can't think of the name of the song. Cold. They came in town. We became friends. I ended up hanging out with them 3 different times. Saw them at the Radio Music Awards that we were talking about earlier. Hung out with them. And then when they would come in town, they would call me and ask me to get them cocaine. And as a director of promotions of a radio station, whether you did it or not, that's what you did. And so a friend of mine I would like to just refer to as Tony the Man knew them so well that the third time they came in town, they didn't call me. They called Tony the Man, and Tony the Man called me, and then we showed up together. The last time that happened was at the old Cardinal Stadium. But the guys from Crossfade, if you go to my recording studio right now, there's a picture that they all signed that said, Scott, blow kills. And they all signed it. Now, they had original drummer, and they also had a DJ that they fired both of those guys, and they got a second drummer that's on all the pictures that you will see from the first album and the second album. Now, if you don't know Crossfade, I don't care if you like it or not, just like Nickelback, that album is amazing. It is still in my shuffle. It's still in my play. I love those guys so much. And I'll look it up later, but Ed's the only one I can think of. I remember at the Radio Music Awards, I'm at a blackjack table, and I'd already done the whole thing with John Waite and Nikki Sixx and Run DMC and everybody else, and then Ed comes walking by. I was like, oh, hey, Ed, what you doing, man? He's like, the fuck you doing here, man? I was like, same reason you're here, motherfucker. And so back we are with Stephen O'Reilly. He's going to show me 2 CDs where he probably played.
Oh, no. It's nothing that cool. I think this is cool because it's a little known fact. Everybody, and this is what I am holding because I don't have a camera in my fucking studio in here.
You got to have one.
This is, I know, a lot of people tell me this. This is
all right, that's Ed, that's the DJ. Oh, that's the DJ that got fired.
Right. He looked like Marcus Buff.
That's the bass player I knew.
Yeah, he looked like
that's
Buff,
Ed.
He looked like Buff Bagwell, the wrestler.
He got fired and he got fired.
Right. Well,
right before the album came out.
Right. Now, what I want you to notice
the
is
DJ
what I'm holding in my hand, which is the second half of that because that one's broke. That's the single, Cold. Look at the name.
Sugar Daddy.
Sugar Daddy Superstar. This that I'm holding in my hand, Sugar Daddy Superstar, is the actual Crossfade record. When they got signed, they took that record that Ed did in his basement and they remastered it, repackaged it as Crossfade and released it. This is the record that you have as Crossfade. This is the first version of it.
Are you playing on it?
No, I'm not. But here's the point I'm getting to. We all were playing in separate bands in Columbia, South Carolina in 2001. That's where they're from.
Now, you know I grew up in Myrtle Beach.
Yes, I know. Ed, when they got signed...
And Mitch. Mitch is the other one I knew.
Yeah. When they got signed, Matt Pinfield was their A&R guy.
Pinfield, like from 120 Minutes?
Yeah. He worked for Columbia. He was their A&R guy. He said he was going to sign him. He signed him. They got signed to Columbia Records. Came out as Crossfade. My band at the time, S-Tribe, which the intro song to my show is from that band, S-Tribe. We used to all play together. And Ed said, dude, we would do bills together. Not play together. We would either open for Sugar Daddy or they would open for us. We were all playing all the time.
What was the name of your band again?
S-Tribe.
Okay.
And this was 2000, 2001, somewhere's in there. So, long story longer, their drummer decided he couldn't go. I can't do the record thing. I'm out. Ed approached me and said, we really want you to be our drummer. And I went, I really can't because we're being looked at by Sony.
So you had to pass it up.
I had to pass it up. Sony didn't take us.
It would only been 3 years anyway.
Our singer quit, and they're on Ozfest. I know, but the reason that I've...
All these things it could have, might have.
Yeah, and it's every now and then I have a girl moment about once every 5 years. I get really drunk and depressed. Totally bullshitting you. I never
shouldn't.
do that.
They're all working at Taco Bell or somewhere else now, and it's terrible. Because it was a great they had 2 great albums.
Those records were
amazing.
Really good. They were really good.
The first Crossfade album, literally.
But
literally.
But I have talked about this on the show before, and you're the first person that I've actually dug them out for because I keep forgetting to get them out. Living proof. I'm not making this up. Sugar Daddy Superstar. Look at the dates. It's dark in here, but
I agree. No, I do.
So that's my Crossfade story.
And I mean,
it's one of those things. That
Death Trendsetter.
So, yeah, it's like how.
No, I can sit here and tell you that
close?
I can tell you the tracks on that album and how great they were. And he recorded those in his garage.
Yeah, I thought it was his basement, but yeah.
No, he told me it was his garage.
Either one.
Him and Mitch,
6 to 1, half a
and
dozen
the DJ that they fought because the DJ started getting all ego.
Yeah,
got rid of him, but the drummer couldn't do it.
Yep,
and they got another guy.
Yep. I was supposed to be the guy.
That's hilarious because the blonde guy, we were all friends.
Yeah,
they would come. When you think about that time back then, they would come to town once a year.
Yeah,
and they would, how cool is it? And I'm not cool, but how cool is it for when the bass player or the singer or the drummer from Crossfade goes, Scott, tour bus is pulling in. Make a phone call for us. Be right there, man.
No, it is cool.
It was fun.
Well,
back at the time.
Here's how this comes full circle and becomes sad, and you'll laugh. Let me tell the story, asshole.
I'm sorry.
God damn.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was laughing. You asked me to laugh.
No, I said you're going to laugh.
Okay, I'll wait.
About 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, but about 4 years ago, Crossfade, which is basically Ed at this point, played Phoenix Hill. So Stacy says, you got to go. Because, of course, as my wife, well, we weren't married at the time, but we've been together a decade.
Yeah.
She knew the story. I was like, nah, I'm not interested. She goes, no, you need to fucking go. You know everybody in this town. They're going to get you back to wherever they're hanging. I said, I don't want to go. I'm not interested. She said, you're going. So she dug out my S Tribe record, and she dug out this record, and we went. So I showed up, and he's there. And the last time he saw me, I had hair halfway down my back. He hasn't never seen me bald. So we go, and we show up, and I walk up to him, and I said, you're never, ever going to remember me. So I just stuck the 2 CDs in his face. And it was that moment he had where the human that was not completely whacked out of his mind on fucking drugs peeked at me for about 30 seconds and went, oh my God, I remember you.
He didn't really do drugs, by the way. I mean, he did drugs, but not like Mitch.
Well, but you get my point.
Yeah.
He looked at me for about 30 seconds and he was like, dude. And then it was gone. I tapped into his human part for just a second and then it was gone. And then he got on stage. They were awful. And then we went home, and I didn't say a word. Stacy, God love her, she knows me. She sees that look. He's being quiet. I'm just going to shut the fuck up.
I'm not going to say a word.
I'm not going to say nothing.
He might smack me.
No,
it's
never.
the officer and gentleman.
Never,
I would never touch a woman, and you shouldn't either.
No, fuck no. But besides that, Stacy will whip my ass.
Yeah,
for the
my
record,
wife ain't putting up a no shit.
Oh, hell no. My wife will whip my ass.
Oh, everything's in my name? Go fuck yourself.
So by the time we get home, all she said is, she goes, are you okay? And I said, yep, I'm good.
You were expecting it.
I was kind of expecting it, but to put this whole bow on the story of where I'm going, I have said for years, and I could be wrong, and I've said it arrogantly, but I've said for years, if I could get my foot over that threshold and let people see what I do, don't care about being famous, I could make a good career from behind my drums. That's all I've ever said. I wanted to be a rock star when I was a kid, but I don't give a shit about that now. If I could get my foot across that threshold, that would have been my foot across the threshold.
And it didn't happen.
It never happened, and I was that close. And I've been that close a billion times. But the irony is, when I see him, or when I saw him a few years ago, I was like, you had the fucking world. How did you piss it away?
I think it was the industry.
I think it was partly the industry, but it was also partly them.
I agree. Now I'm going to tell you something.
You do that much blow?
I'm going to make you very sad. I was the exact opposite. I had the best musicians in the world in my band. I'm the worst musician in the world.
No, you're not.
No, I am.
No, you're
I
not.
know what I do is I outwork people. and I put more effort into it. And I become the guy that runs the band and does the management part, so I can be in that band with the great musicians who end up being my best friends in the world. But I'm a terrible musician. And I'm at the point now.
You're not terrible. Stop saying that.
I'm at the point now, I have no desire. Don't want to do it. I cannot stand learning songs anymore. Just can't. I really don't. So whenever Will retired for the 14th time, so happy. We started talking about doing Rage Against the Machine, or the Slave Against the Machine thing with me and Ryan and Chuck and Jamie and John Anderson. And I'm like, God damn, I'm going to have to work. Now, that's the one thing I will still do because I formed this band. I've chose those guys.
Right.
They're all friends. I mean, we've been friends for 20-something years.
Right.
So I'll still do it, but I've realized how untalented I am. Can I do I have a thing that I do on stage. That's fine. I have a thing. I can sing harmonies that people can't do. I can do bongos that people can't do. I can play drums, percussion, guitar. Give me an instrument, I'll play it. That's fine. But I am so untalented that I have to work so hard to do a song on stage with someone. I don't have the desire to do it anymore. I'm only going to focus. That's why I've spent $30,000 on a recording studio in my basement, and I've yet to record one song. I'm close. I've almost got everything I want, but I'm like, I won't record one song until it's all set up and ready to go.
Right.
And I have 20 songs that I wrote. I'm ready to do.
Nice.
But they all sound like shitty Guns N' Roses songs from 1987 or weird, bad Lenny Kravitz songs from 1991. That's fine. I'll reproduce them, I'll redo them. But until my studio where I can walk in and push a button and start playing,
right?
Whether it's drums, guitar, bass, whatever it is, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to do. I'm going to play every instrument by myself. I'm going to do every song by myself for the demo, and then I'm going to get real musicians to come back in and do it.
All right, well, at least do me a favor and stop saying you're talentless. I've seen you play with my own two beautiful eyes. That's right, I just said I had beautiful eyes.
I'm staring at
Look
them right
deep
now.
into them right now.
Don't do that to me.
Okay, sorry. You are not talentless. You're fucking good. You're better than you give yourself credit for. That's enough of that. So, did you finish the story from the booth? I'm not going to lie. I don't
David
fucking
Draymond.
know.
Oh, no, I did not.
David Draymond. See?
David Draymond. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. I digress.
Dude.
So
I brought
David
that back
Draymond,
around.
you did. Thank you for doing it.
You're welcome.
So David Draymond was playing. We're doing a show at Jillian's. I booked the gig with the guys from Jillian's. It was basically I got kicked out of my own gig. David Draymond came in. I'm doing a live on air midday. I'm sorry, not midday, afternoon drive time.
You're asking him.
Vanetti's out. I'm doing his, and I said, and I looked up a bunch of stuff, and I asked him great stuff about. I can't think of his guitar player's name. I was like, hey, "How are you all so tight? You know, your drummer and your guitar player are rhythm section without the bass player, which is very rare.
It is,
and that's one of the things I loved about the staccato of."
Yeah,
Disturbed.
that's what makes them work.
Oh, it was killed me how great they were. And he basically said, Danny, I think is the guy's name, the guitar player for Disturbed.
Even if you told me I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Not
but he was
lie to
basically gave it all to him and said he writes everything, does this. So I had looked up about how he was voted the biggest whore of Ozfest. Now, he came in with his fiance. So I specifically found out the date of this Ozfest trophy and found out when they met to make sure that the two of them weren't together at the time, because I didn't want to put the guy on blast and bust his balls in front of his fiance. And so everything worked out. So I basically asked him, so tell me about this thing on Ozfest where you became the biggest whore. And he jokingly was like, blew it off. Was like, man, that was a long time ago. No, it didn't happen. Da, da, da. And I didn't push him on it. I didn't say anything else. And I said, no, you're good. On air, I went, when did you guys get together? Oh, how'd you meet her? I tried to make her part of the conversation, and then I went back to I wanted to make sure that I wasn't being that guy that said, hey, your boyfriend was your fiance was fucking other chicks at Ozfest when this is before they met.
Right.
So I was trying to be cool about it. And so the interview finished. He walks out, and I'm literally sitting, editing the interview, putting it on air, and I get a phone call from the program director, and he goes, I need you to come back to my office. I'm like, okay. That's never, unless you're in trouble, that doesn't, when your program director says, I want you to record your next break and then come back to my office. And he goes, Jillian's just called. You're not allowed to come to the concert tonight. Like, what? He's like, yeah, evidently he said something with David Draymond, pissed him off. And he said if he thinks that you're there, if he sees that you're there, if he smells you there, if someone says that he thinks you're there, he's going to cancel the whole fucking show. You're not allowed to go. And I went, fuck, am I in trouble? And my boss went, it's the best fucking interview question I've ever heard. You asked what a fan wanted to hear. You went out and did your own research and found something. It was the greatest interview question I've been doing this my entire life. It's the greatest interview question ever. But like Frank, who I was talking about earlier, Frank Webb, he walked out and goes, I don't know who that fucking cocksucker thinks he is. He can't believe he asked me that question in front of my girlfriend. And Frank went, yeah, but you all weren't together. He goes, I don't fucking care. Fuck that guy. I don't ever want to see that fucking guy again. So then Bobby Burke, from now with Bullet, who was the showrunner at the Jillians, calls me and goes, you just got kicked out of your own concert. I was like, it is my concert. He goes, yeah, you're not allowed to come. And so the next day, he calls me and goes, I want you to come down and meet me. I was like, oh, I thought I was in trouble. And he goes, no. Give me a big, huge glass of bourbon and goes, here's your backstage pass from last night that you're not allowed to have. So I got kicked out of my own concert for asking the best interview question ever with the biggest asshole ever, evidently. And as far as I'm concerned, fuck Disturbed. That was a great band. They wrote great songs, but
No. I was agreeing with you.
That was a great question. There was nothing inappropriate about that question. I went and did research, as you should. Most people would go, hey, tell me about the guitar tone. Hey, what kind of pants are you wearing tonight? What's your favorite song? Fuck you. I asked him something that actually happened that a tour manager from Breaking Benjamin told, it actually was the vice president of Hollywood Records, it wasn't even a tour manager, told me to ask him. You won the award for being the biggest whore at Ozfest. What was the trophy? That was the question. Well, I wanted to know what the trophy was. What? Mr. Cotta.
Apparently she was a trophy.
Oh! She was the trophy. And that's why he didn't want to answer the question. All right, let's go back. Biggest from the stage.
Yeah, story from the stage.
Now, everybody knows that I've been a band and friends with Frank Green for, I can't tell you, I mean, I've texted and talked to Frank every day. One of my best friends in the world.
Never heard of him.
No one knows who Frank Green is. Sasquatch. We once did everybody joked about him looking like Sasquatch. If you know Frank Green, he got a Sasquatch looking motherfucker.
He kind of can't be.
We took, have you seen our bass player, and took pictures of Sasquatch. But I superimposed his face, so it was actually the old Sasquatch picture, and put it all over TK's pub. And everybody loved it. Anyway, he's one of my best friends in the world, and I love him. And if there's ever any issue that I have a problem with, if I'm, my father's dying, my mom's dying, my cousin's died of heroin, whatever it is, Frank's the guy that I talk to. So I want to make sure everybody knows that this is my best friend in the world. When we were in Whatever Will together, he would secretly, at least once a weekend, take the fog machine, hide it, and aim it at my face. And he was the guy in charge of the fog machine with the foot pedal. And so at least once a weekend, unbeknownst to me, I'd be all jamming out with do my rock face, and a big fog would come across my face. He did it but he would secretly do it once a weekend, every weekend. And everybody, he wouldn't tell anyone else in the band.
Right.
But when it happened, everyone would die laughing. So the whole band would stop playing the song partially and go to a knee and laugh hysterically because of where Frank had positioned the fog machine to blow in my face. So one night on New Year's Eve, somebody gave us confetti. So we're playing New Year's Eve. We were at Phoenix Hill Tavern, and Frank goes, "Hey, Scott!" And I turned, I'm playing I'm left-handed, so I'm on the stage right, and I would go, "What?" with my face wide open, and he took a handful of confetti and threw it in my face, and this was like little dot confetti. Right. So it covered my entire mouth, any part of my face that was wet, which included my eyeballs.
True.
So I want to be mad. I want to punch him. Everyone's like, oh my God, Scott, stop playing. Not that anyone gives a shit that I'm stopping playing the song. And I would go to my knees and I'm laughing hysterically because I literally can't breathe. I can't breathe through my nose. I've got confetti on my eyeballs, sticking to my eyeballs. And I'm just, at some point I just stopped moving. And just went to my knees and started blinking until all the stuff was out of my eyes so I could see him. And I'm still laughing hysterically. 2 months later, it's his birthday. I think it's February or something like that, right after New Year's.
Right.
It's his birthday. Somebody gave him a bunch of cookies. Chews up a whole mouthful in his face. Hey, Scott, what? And spits the cookies. It goes all in my face, all in my nose, all in my eyes. I can't see. I can't play. And I'm laughing on the floor. So I'll never forget. And both of those were at Phoenix Hill Tavern. So my retort, my reply, whatever you want to call it, to Frank was, in the basement of Phoenix Hill, they had, it's like a fucking...
Phoenix Hill had a basement?
Anyone that's listening to this, if you know Phoenix Hill has a basement, you've been down there with me. That's all you need to know. Oh, yeah, said Barry White. Anyway, I would go down there and they would have canned goods from the 60s.
Phoenix Hill had a basement.
Phoenix Hill had a basement, and if you know it, you were with me. And they would have canned goods for the restaurant upstairs.
Right.
They were so old that no one could use them, and they would never take them upstairs. But they used to have chili con carne in half-gallon cans. So whenever Frank would do, like once a weekend, he would do the smoke machine in my face, I would secretly put a can of corn, chili con carne, chili beans. When he wasn't looking, I would put that on his amp. So the fat guy in the band had a big, huge can. Beans or chili con carne. Oh, I'm the fat guy. Oh, that's fucking funny. Fuck you. Yeah, we just put smoke in my face. You spit confetti in my eye, you son of a bitch. One of my best friends to this day. Still, I talk to him every day. Almost every day.
I'm going to text him.
Chili con carne. That's all you got to eat. He'll know exactly what you're talking about. Chili con carne.
Phoenix Hill really had a basement?
They did. And here's a great story.
How did you get there?
You
Don't say go downstairs, motherfucker.
Well, obviously you had to go downstairs. If you went in the back door from the, remember the coat room, if you'd walk in that door or from the back bar, there was a little ramp that came up and then back down. And on the last, whenever we retired, it was our last night. We played our last show. This is our first retirement. On the last night, everybody knew that I went down there with girls. Even my wife knows. That's where I would sneak down I just did the international symbol for smoking weed and the international symbol for, I think you know what that means. So I would go down there. So on my last night, Frankie...
Please explain, Mr. Clark.
Frankie, I sit here and give you a whole list of people that did this. Frankie and man. No, let's just say Frankie and all the girls in Phoenix Hill. And I don't want to think about your names right now. I never did anything with those girls. This was all groupie girls, and this was my thing back in the day. When I went down there on the last night, there was a blanket, 2 rubber gloves, condoms, 2 candles lit, Vaseline, a blanket, a pillow. I think that was it. But they basically had a shrine because I was going to go down and bang some girl.
Right.
But they had a shrine for me downstairs. And I came upstairs with all the stuff in my arms crying. And I thought it was so sweet that they thought I was such a misogynistic motherfucker. I was like, oh, you guys are sweet. You got all this stuff for me to rape someone. It's a rape kit. You bought me a rape kit. And I never did anything like that. I was not that bad. Hashtag me too. Nobody was never a participant, as far as I know, as far as you know. But no, they made basically, I mean, think about it. You walk downstairs and there's blanket, pillow, rubber gloves, Vaseline, condoms, candles. Oh, I forgot champagne. That's
Champagne.
Champagne. Do you like champagne? The Continental. Because he's crazy that way. So yeah, I'll never forget Phoenix Hill. And I went to the Phoenix Hill when they were tearing it down, and I got a brick for everyone. So everyone in whatever will has a brick from Phoenix Hill Tavern.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the saloon bar, is in Bear Nose in E-Town.
I know.
I figured I knew you know, but
of course
some of my listeners may not know.
Yeah, that's cool. And then there's someone on Facebook right now trying to sell that old the car that was out in front.
No shit.
Yeah, it's on Facebook right now.
Huh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So before we move on to what are you listening to, I told you I was going to give you an ugly story.
Yes, please.
When I first met Kevin McCreary,
God rest his soul.
God love him. That motherfucker.
Man, it was tough for everyone. I've never seen someone impact so many people.
I don't either.
Let me do my Kevin McCreary impersonation. That's Kevin. That's Kevin.
Never heard of him.
Who? There was one?
Or my favorite one, he used to do that, and then he'd stop. He'd just cut himself off and go, I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Who is this?
I love it, motherfucker. Anyway,
I don't get it.
So he turned me on to a lot of people in the scene because I met him, obviously, teaching at Mom's. And he gave me an Ugly CD. He was in Ugly at the time.
Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
This is great. I have 2 copies of that record. I love that record. So anyway, he gave me the record. I'm kind of jamming on it, and he comes flying. This is probably 2-3 months after he gave me the record. So about a year after I'd been here. Kind of putting a half-ass timeline on this. He comes flying in my teaching studio one day, and he goes, hey, what are you doing in 2 weeks? And I went, I don't fucking know. And he goes, learn the record. And I went, what record? He goes, the Ugly record. I need you. And he shuts my door, and he leaves. And I've got a student in my room, and I'm like, I can't fucking... You're going to hang on, kid. So I run down to his room. I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I need you to play a couple shows with Ugly. Learn the record. I went, okay. By this time, I'm getting all amped up because I love that record. And I'd seen him play a couple times, and Joe is just a consummate front man. Love that fucking dude. Great singer.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm not saying he's not a great front man.
Anyway, it's about me. You shut up. So, I learned the record. We have 2 or 3 rehearsals. Everything's cool. Everything's going great. Pack up the drums. Pack up the van. We all jump in the van. We're heading to Detroit to the machine shop to open for Saliva or somebody like that. I don't remember who it was. It's irrelevant. We hit a fucking ice storm on the way. Get stuck on the side of the interstate. Joe goes to save this woman. There's probably 3 or 4... Well... 2 now because one's dead, unfortunately. But there's 2 witnesses that watched Joe. Joe's going to help this chick, and he's screaming at the OnStar lady. Transfer trucks are all killing each other, and me, Frank, and Kevin are sitting in the van cracking ourselves up, laughing at everything because we're stuck in an ice storm. I never once got to play with him. I did 3 rehearsals.
So Donnie got right after that?
No, Donnie, I was Donnie's, quote, replacement. I don't remember if he was leaving or if he was let go. None of my business because I don't remember and I don't fucking care. But when we came back from that trip that never happened, Donnie was back in the band and I was out. It was the most bizarre thing ever.
Don't know that story.
But it was
these
so
are my best
cool.
friends.
Yeah. Ask Frank. He'll tell you.
I'll have to ask him because,
He'll tell you. I'm not making it up. It happened. Ask Frank.
These are my best friends in the world.
Yeah.
I did not know this story.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I will call Frank on the way home.
Yeah, it was February of... It had to be 2008, maybe?
Donnie's the best, worst drummer of all time.
2009?
You always say that. Technology's the best, worst thing.
Oh,
Johnny
yeah.
Holland's the best, worst drummer of all time.
Yeah, I always say
I'm
that.
sure I'm no fun
fun
to play with either. We almost fought. We opened for Coolio a couple years ago, and him and I almost fought.
Who, you and Donnie?
Yeah, he was being a dick. So I grabbed him by the arm, and I had slippery cowboy boots on. He's like, "You gonna grab me?" And I was like, "Swoop!" right off my feet. I was like, "I got my ass whooped. I didn't have a chance. I was trying to fight somebody with the wrong boots. He was being a dick, and we talked about it the next day. I was like, "You're being a dick, but I shouldn't have put my hands on you." And I was wearing slippery boots. I love Donnie. No, Donnie came to my house the other day. He knows I'm kidding. I love Donnie. I do. I love Donnie. I love Frank. Love Sean. Open for Coolio. Coolio played my bongos like, hey, whoa! Hey, Coolio. Be touching my bongos, man. I'm just kidding, Coolio. Go ahead and play the bongos, man. You played my bongos. Your hair looks really weird right now. Go ahead and play the bongos.
It always looked really weird.
Brian Fox's, that Fox.
Fox Bash.
Oh, God. So much fun. I've been there 3 times. I've played it twice. Not going this year. I'll be out of town. I wanted to go. I'll be out of town. It's all right. So, we got one last story, right?
No.
We got more? I'm ready. I got tons.
We got one more segment, unless you got another story for stories.
I ain't going nowhere. I got shit.
All right. So then, in that case,
what am I listening to?
There you go.
All right.
Let's move on to...
Here's my favorite thing. Think about...
Music, motherfucker.
I'm going to go music. I'm going to go podcast, too.
No, music,
no, podcasts are more important, but I want to tell you...
Scott, focus.
Music.
The music of the show, motherfucker.
Here's my favorite thing. I have bought 3 or 4 iPhones.
You're still missing this.
Music?
I have to put the music in.
Go ahead. All right, wait for the music. Here it goes, and scene.
All right, now that I've actually corrected you, and I'm not editing out.
Are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What are you listening to? What you got for me?
My favorite thing is this. I've worked for Southern Glaciers Wine and Spirits. I went from Olinger to Glaciers to Southern Glaciers. I've been with the company 10 years. I've never worked anywhere 10 years.
Right.
Over that 10-year period, they bought my phones and iPhones and everything like that, and I keep continually upgrading for the cheapest possible iPhone with the most possible data available. So I've got like a 67,000 gig iPhone 4. I don't even know what it is, but I do it for one reason, because I like to put, I've got, over the years, I probably have 10,000 CDs.
Right.
I like a lot of very eclectic music. So what I do is I just keep loading CDs onto my iTunes,
right,
and downloading it on my phone.
Right.
Somewhere about 4 or 5 years ago, probably 3 years ago, I found the shuffle feature. It's like, it's a DJ of my music. I just hit shuffle, and if I don't, I like that song, but I don't hear something else. Forward. I love that song, and I'll listen to it. So what I'm listening to is whatever's on my shuffle, and I love it. Nice. And that could be, I'm a huge Kiss fan. I know that you are as well. Mm-hmm. We could actually come back and do a whole nother Kiss episode.
We probably could.
Oh, no, I guarantee
and since you heard Ryan Murphy's episode.
They don't know shit about Kiss.
Well, no. I was going to say, since you heard Ryan Murphy's episode, fuck Vinnie Vincent. Carry on.
Fuck Vinnie Vincent. He looks like a woman.
He does.
It's Vivian Vincent. No, I'm with you.
Okay.
So we can do a whole other. Anyway, so my favorite thing on music is my own shuffle of my songs from my CD collection.
That's awesome.
No one gives a shit about that. Now here's what I'm listening to. I used to host the Comedy Caravan every Friday night, the comedy show.
Right.
And I always thought I could be a comedian.
I think you could be.
I did, because it's not like I don't have funny stuff to say. It's not like I can't write jokes. I wrote a sitcom. Go to IMDb and look up Scott Clark, and you'll see where I wrote a sitcom.
The real one or the fake one?
The real one on this one, where I wrote a sitcom with Todd Blankenship and another guy named Dano DeJulio. We did a sitcom. We won the Melrose sitcom. We won some award.
Right.
But we made it. It never got picked up.
Right.
But we did it. So if you go to IMDb, I don't have my picture on there because I'm not going to pay the $250 a year to have my picture. But there's an IMDb page where I wrote a sitcom.
Nice.
It was terrible.
You probably didn't hear what I said, but I love me some Todd Blankenship.
I love Todd Blankenship. He's another one of those guys in whatever will. And
he's a good dude.
We actually jokingly call my attic, unfinished attic, that's the Joey. Joey from Friends. That's the Joey suite. And now that he's married a girl from Malaysia, or not Malaysia, it's it doesn't matter. I think it's the Blankenship wing, or as I like to call it, the Blankenship Wong, which is a great sitcom joke. But anyway, what I listen to now is comedy podcasts. That's all I listen to.
Really?
I'm a liquor salesman. I drive my car all day long. I got a lot of what we call windshield time. And all I listen to is comedy podcasts.
Nice.
I found Jay Moore's comedy podcast from the Jim Rome Show, which was just a sports show. I was actually on after Jim Rome on KRD for years.
Right.
And I became a fan of Jim Rome show. He was on there as a slam man, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I started listening to, when podcasts came out, he had a podcast, the Jay More Stories.
Yeah, more stories.
So
I've listened to a lot of his episodes.
He's on my list every week. From there, I met a guy named Ryan Sickler, who's a comedian from Baltimore, who's in L.A. now. He does the goddamn Comedy Jam. He's a producer on a bunch of different shows. And then his buddy, Jay Larson, who's been in a few movies.
Right.
He was also on the Esquire TV show, Best Bars in America.
Yep, I know what you're talking
So
about.
it's Jay Larson, Ryan Sickler. It's called The Crab Feast. And I'm telling everyone out there right now, go get The Crab Feast on iTunes and start from the very beginning. I can't wait for Tuesday. Not Tuesday. They call it Tuesday. Tuesday. They're on every Tuesday, and I listen to this podcast every week.
Nice.
And what they do, it's imagine two comedians that have another comedian on every week, and they just talk about stories, just like you and I've sat here and talked all night.
Right.
It's stories.
Right.
And we've had a great time. I would say something, and you would tag something on. What makes their show so amazing is how a comedian will say something, and then the two guys, just like I told you, you ask a question, you get out of the way,
right?
Then you come back and add your own thing to it.
Right.
That's called a tag.
Right.
So they have all these little tags that come back, and I will go online, and I become friends with both of them on Facebook and on Twitter. And when they say something that just makes me die laughing, all I have to do is tag, tweet or whatever back to them what they said as a tag to the other comedian's joke, and they know exactly what I'm saying.
Nice.
It's called The Crab Feast.
The Crab Feast.
The Crab Feast. Ryan Sickler, Jay Larson. They both have comedy specials out right now that are available on iTunes, that are available on anywhere you can get social media.
Right.
But it's called thecrabfeast.com. That's my favorite thing. I cannot. What my wife even calls it, it's Tuesday. Not Tuesday. Tuesday. And it's called The Crab Feast because he's from Maryland. The other guy's from Boston. They had another guy that started the show before all this happened. It was Matt Fulcheron, who's another comedian.
Right.
And they started this crab. And I went back and listened to the Crab Feast before it was the two guys. It was Matt Fulcheron, and then Ryan Sickler was kind of the side guy.
Right.
And now it's Ryan Sickler and Jay Larson that do the thing, and it's amazing.
I'll have to check
so
it out.
if you like a comedy crab feast or a comedy podcast,
I see what you did there. If you like a comedy crab feast.
if you like a comedy, well, first of all, I like a crab feast. I love me some crab. I'll break some crabs off in your ass just to eat some. That sounded really weird.
Really?
That's gross. Thecrabfeast.com. So that's what I basically do is listen to podcasts all day long. Adam Carolla is the show that I listen to every day.
The Podfather.
He is the Podfather.
He's the Podfather.
He is the Podfather. And Bald Brian
Like how I
and
did
Gina
that.
Grad. Oh, no. You have no idea. I listen to that every day. That's my every day. Then Carolla has a podcast with Mark Garagos, the lawyer.
Never heard of that one.
You don't know Mark Garagos?
I don't know who
Look
that
it up. You'll know who it is. He's represented Chris Brown. He's representing Colin Kaepernick right now. They do one every Saturday, which basically they ended up living down the street from each other, and they like scotch. So they like, yeah, let's do a podcast. That's how that shit works.
Pretty much.
Carolla Digital and Podcast One have been a huge influence on me. So I listen to that every day, and I have the Garagos. It's Reasonable Doubt is the name of that podcast that happens on Saturday, and then every Tuesday is the Crab Feast, and I still have Jay Moore, and then Jay Moore's manager, whose name's Barry Katz, man. And that's the way he talks, man. He's represented everybody from Chappelle. I mean, if you look at Barry Katz's, Louis C.K. All these people, all these comedians, the very beginning, their first manager was Barry Katz, man. Hey, man, listen, man, you don't need me anymore, man. And he would let them move on to bigger and better things because he knew they could do better than he could.
Right.
Amazing. But he has Barry Katz has a couple phrases that I got to say on your podcast.
Go ahead.
If you're undeniable, you can't be denied, man. That's great advice. If you're undeniable, you can't be denied.
Absolutely.
And I said this in an interview at work a couple months ago. My job is to create holy shit moments. That's what you do. If you're a musician, if you're a comedian, no matter, create holy shit moments.
True. No, I dig it. I've created quite a few of those.
Holy shit moments.
Holy shit moments.
So go get the Barry Katz podcast. It's called Industry Standard.
Nice.
And then obviously Adam Carolla.
Right.
Obviously Jay Moore, More Stories. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, number one of all time, baby. Not the Podfather. Everybody knows Adam Carolla show. But my favorite show of all time, and I literally can't wait for every Tuesday morning Tuesday morning. And I flew out to L.A. to see Ryan Sickler.
Nice.
And I called his manager. I was like, we got a part for him on this podcast, or on this sitcom. I'd like to meet him. So I got on the guest list for one of his shows in L.A. And he went outside and goes, and I was like, hey, playa. That's one of the things he said. He was like, oh, hey, you're the guy. He's on the guest list. Hey, give me a hug. So these are guys, they actually know who I am. They respond to me on Twitter.
Nice.
So if you ever see me talk to Jay Larson or Ryan Sickler on Facebook or Twitter, it's because of Tuesdays. The Crab Feast. And that's the one you need to go to.
Well, I think you should totally check out the Bar Star podcast.
I think that's another good one.
I've heard it's pretty cool.
It's certainly, here's the best part about your podcast is, I mean, just when you asked me to do this and start looking at some of your podcasts, you messing with my glasses? Oh, you had Dave Moody, old friend.
Never heard of him.
Who? Chuck Deering. I'm in a band with the guy. And who doesn't love Chuck Deering?
I know.
Ryan Murphy. I'm in a band with. He's played with me more than probably any other drummer other than Donnie Highland in my life.
Right.
Love me some Ryan Murphy. And then Jesse Vest. My Jesse Vest story.
I wasn't going to let you forget. Look at you.
This is going to be the last one, Jesse. And this is 25 years ago. So I'm not putting him on blast or anything like that. So,
how can you put Jesse on blast anyway? He's so nice.
I would never do that.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Story,
he's so nice.
He's got to remember this, and he's got to remember it, and I hope he finds it funny. And I would never want to disrespect Jesse.
No.
I don't think he would find. He's not the kind of guy. He doesn't give a shit about me.
No.
So
he doesn't give a shit about me.
My ex-girlfriend that I was living with at the time was very close friends from Fern Creek with his ex-wife, the mother of the 18-year-old you all were talking about.
Yes.
So he's at my house in Linden, which is in the east end of Louisville. Very safe part of town.
Right around the corner from where I live.
Yeah, right, literally down the street. And where it's my ex-girlfriend's birthday party, so they're there. A couple of guys, I think Matt or Todd or some of the other guys from Days of the New were there, and a bunch of our friends were all hanging out on the deck. Kids, everybody brought their kids at the time, and I think the 18-year-old was probably 2 or 3 at the time. So it was basically a birthday party with kids in Linden, and Jesse basically goes, I'm going to walk out of the car. And as he's walking on my deck, I can see in the back of his shirt something moving as he's walking, and I realize he's got his gun. And I'm like, that's
weird.
The guy, Days of the New, he'd gone through a lot. I'm sure he had a reason to have a gun. But I walked up to him and I patted him on the gun. I didn't just pat him on the back of the butt. I patted him directly on the gun. He's like, I'm going to go out to my car. So I walked out and patted him on his gun. I went, why don't you put that in the car too, man? I was like, you're at a kid's birthday party in Linden. No one's going to fight you, man. I got you. So that's my Jesse Vest story. And I love Jesse very much. And I'm so happy with him and the Crashers. And I'm so happy that we all talk about how we meet so many people and can't remember anybody.
Right.
The fact that Jesse knows who I am makes me feel good. Makes me smile. I love me some Jesse. Who doesn't love Jesse?
I was pretty, I don't know what the word is. I was super stoked that he wanted to do my show. And I was super stoked he wanted me on his show.
I got to go check out his show. I didn't even know he had a show, and now that you said that on your show, I got to go back and check out his.
Yeah, his show is really cool. Now he doesn't release regularly. He does basically his own schedule. He's a super busy dude, but he's had everybody from the Crashers on there and a couple other people. He did one with the Crasher sound guy, which was really cool because I had no idea the stuff that dude's done. Dave DeCenso.
Yeah, Dave DeVincent.
I'm sorry. You are correct.
Yeah, he worked at
Dave DeCenso is a fucking drummer.
DeVincent.
No.
He worked at QMF when I was there.
Right. What I was going to say is Dave DeCenso is a drummer up in New Jersey.
Dave DeVincent.
Yeah, DeVincent.
Great guy. Great sound guy.
Yeah, great
broadcaster.
Yeah, but his episode was really, really cool.
I went to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, but when we were in here hanging out and doing Jesse's show, I told him before I even pushed record, I said, listen, you have a reputation for not talking. So if there's anything...
He was amazing.
Well, that's what I said. I said, if there's anything you don't want to say, you do whatever you want.
I think he had a problem.
He didn't. He just looked at me and he goes, you just push record, buddy. And that's what I did.
It's funny. And I don't see him very often. And when we see each other, we know each other, obviously.
Right.
The tone of his voice... I had forgotten he's got that.
He's got a
very
smooth.
mid-range. He's got a very mid-rangey kind of.
He's so smooth.
And I can't think of who his voice sounds like, but man, who doesn't love Jesse Best? I mean, to go through what he's gone through and be the one guy
dude
in that band, besides Todd.
Yeah, 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
I mean, Todd's pretty much got his shit together.
Oh yeah. It's funny story. If I can just finish on one last thing,
you got plenty of time. I'm not in a hurry.
My sister has gone through cancer. Her cancer was, funny enough, they go to the state fair every year, and my brother-in-law and my sister go to the state fair on the first day every year and have a mammogram and a colonoscopy because it's free. Gotcha. So they go every year. For 21 years they went. On the 21st year, they told my sister, there's a little spot. It's so small, there's no way it's cancer. But when they do that, they send it to your actual doctor. The doctor reviews it. And for 20 years, they said nothing. On the 21st year, they went, that's the smallest dot. There's no way it's cancer. Let's come on and take a look at it.
Right.
Well, the dot's still there. Then they did a biopsy, and it was cancer. It was the size of a ballpoint pen tip. Like if you pressed on a ballpoint pen, the tip that came out, that was the size of my sister's cancer. They cut it out immediately. Cancer-free, but they made her go through chemo.
Right.
Made her go through radiation. But who knows? I mean, who do you go talk to?
Right.
When's my hair going to fall out? Do I need a wig? How much is a wig? Where do you go get a wig? No idea.
Right.
So I called a buddy of mine whose wife had just passed away from cancer. And I said, man, my sister's going through this. I don't know what to do. And he goes, there's a friend of mine in Louisville. I know. And he sent me the information. And it turns out that it was my friend's fraternity brother. His wife owned a cancer shop. She had gone through it, and she had a little cancer shop, which happened to be a half mile from my sister's house, right down the street. Damn. Right here, it's called Awakenings. It's on Chamberlain Lane, right off Chamberlain Lane, right there at that little shopping center by the BP.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And I called her, and I said, listen, my sister's not going to deal with this very well. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know who to talk to. She said, come on in. I'm going to bring 2 people in here that have already done it, along with me, and we'll talk her through everything. Heidi Fullerton took care of Heidi took care of everything. And then got my sister a couple wigs, because my sister was kind of in denial that her hair was going to fall out. And I was like, Lee Ray, I don't want you being in the shower on your way to work and pulling out hair in clumps and freaking out. I want to make sure you're prepared ahead of time. So she went, Luckily, weird enough, I called Heidi and she said, "Oh, your sister already called me and set up an appointment." I was like, "You got to be kidding me." So I went and took my sister. We had drinks. We had lunch. We went and got mani-pedis. I know that sounds weird, but that was what I did with my sister. Had more drinks and then went to Heidi's and I brought bottles of wine for everybody. And we drank and got my sister a couple wigs. And then literally, the next week, her hair started falling out and she already had her wigs.
Nice.
Now, while Heidi...
Not nice, but nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heidi's so nice that she came to my sister's house while her hair's falling out and cut her wig to make it look exactly like my sister's hair. And then convinced my sister to cut her hair right then and there. It's going to fall out. It's the one thing that cancer can't take from you if you decide to cut your hair. So my sister cut all her hair off, had the wig, everything was ready. While we're standing there, sitting there talking, she goes, "Oh, blah, 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 blah. You ever heard Days of the New?" And Tantra, I'm like, I know a couple guys. It's her and her husband are best friends with Todd Whitener and his wife. And I'm like,
gotcha.
Text. You're never going to fucking believe who I'm sitting with right now. Blah, blah, blah. Picture. So I've gotten to reconnect with Todd Whitener from that. So
Nice.
it all goes back to the Jesse Fest podcast. So, yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
And Matt Tall is still cool. He might be crazy and on drugs or in prison. I don't know. And Travis is nuts. Great talent, but nuts.
I've heard Travis is
Thank
nuts.
God for Jesse and Todd and Matt.
I've heard Travis is nuts. I've only, like I said on that episode, I've only met Matt twice.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he was up for...
Got his problems, but he's a good dude.
Well, he was up for my replacement in Heaven Hill when they fired me because they're so fucking smart.
Where's that band at? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Anyway. And they're all still friends of mine, too.
We got past all that, and we're all still friends, too.
I love them all.
But whenever I can throw them under the bus
You've
they
got
go.
He's got a podcast. I do.
Anyway, I met Matt, and it was in Mom's one day, and he walks up to me, and he goes, "Are you O'Reilly?" And I went, "Yeah. Who are you?" Because I'm always defensive. And he said, I'm Matt Tall. I was in Days of the New. Tantric. And I went, "Oh, okay, cool. Very nice to meet you." And he said, "I was supposed to replace you in Heaven Hill, but I couldn't do it because of house arrest. Nice to meet you. I got to go."
Ankle bracelet.
Out the front door.
Ankle bracelet. See ya.
And
I got to get back before it goes off.
And that was it. He out the door he went. And I went, "Okay."
And
that was really bizarre.
I got to also comment, how is it possible that you're in a band with my cousin, Chucky, as we call him in my family, Chucky. Please call him Chucky from now on because he hates it. Because I'm Scotty and I hate that, so call him Chucky. And I know he's Irish. And your last name is O'Reilly, and you have Todd O'Meara. Mm-hmm. I would assume Liam Smith is also Irish.
Well, Liam is damn sure Irish.
He's red hair, or he had red hair.
His kid's red hair.
And then, I don't know, Jeff Rogers. He could be. He's probably Slavic. He's a commie.
He's pretty.
He's a good looking dude. Great guitar player.
Great guitar player.
I love your band.
And he's good looking.
And you're the first band that ever played click track backing tracks that I ever respected. Because like you all talked about,
Thanks.
I was always the exact, whatever will never do that.
Right.
That's, we know.
Right.
But when you all started doing it, I heard other bands and I went, nope. But when you all did it, I went, oh, okay. I get it. It does sound great.
It's one of the. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment, and I had a lot of help trying to set all that shit up.
Ryan Murphy.
Well, when I first started getting into it, Ryan Murphy did help, but as far as building the tracks, that was all Adam Young. He showed me how to do it.
Yeah. You put it on your podcast. Everybody heard it. Calm down.
I've never said Adam Young's name.
No, it was somebody else. It was somebody else.
But no, what I was getting at is the one thing I wanted to do. My goal and my vision when I started Gas Money was I want to do something different. I want to do something that nobody else is touching and or what they're scared to touch because of the backing tracks.
Yeah.
Now, how the fuck do I do it without a keyboard player? That was the goal and the question. And I think I pulled it off.
And I think the vests make the band. It's the vests. Not the Jesse vest. The actual vest that you all wear with the ties, and it's cute. And my little cousin's in your band. I like it. Chucky. Chucky.
I want you
oh, little Chucky Weber.
I want you to stay on this microphone and follow me with your eyes.
I'm following him with my eyes. He's going into a closet. I think it's a bathroom. It's a big closet. It's a bunch of vests and very nice clothing that he never wears except for, I guess, when he plays with gas money. Oh, no, what's that weird sweater?
Can't talk about my dad's sweaters. That's what Stacy calls them. She's like, you're the only tattoo.
Because it's with the Bill Cosby and the stuff with the jello pudding and the stuff with the, I got the sweaters with the stuff and the stuff. Every impersonation I do sounds like me impersonating somebody. It's not the impersonation.
Your lip was perfect, though.
But the stuff and the stuff with the, Everything I do sounds like somebody else.
Stacy tells me all the time, she said, you're the only tattooed motherfucker I know that can pull off a dad sweater. I'm like, because I buy cool dad sweaters.
I had to tell my entire family, stop going to Kohl's and buying me shit for Christmas. I'm just going to take it back. I'm just going to take it back because you make me look like the cars with the jello pudding pops and the stuff. Oh. Thank you. And scene.
Anyway, the reason I showed you that, it's kind of funny. Somebody was telling me, and I'm not saying somebody because I don't want to name him. I don't remember who the fuck it was. But somebody was telling me, they said, you're responsible for all the bands in the bars dressing up and dressing better. And I'm like, I'm not responsible for shit. Don't fucking put that on me. And they were like, no, seriously, think about it. You started that whole thing. I'm like, I didn't start anything. I just got tired of bands looking like shit. And I didn't want my band to look like shit. He looked at me and goes, have you looked at bands on stage in any of the bars lately? And I went, a few of the ones that I know and a few of the ones I've seen here and there. He goes, do they look like shit anymore? And I went, touche, motherfucker, touche.
Now, From Paris was the first band that I saw that started dressing up.
Yes.
And then I always wear my fuzzy jacket.
I love the black fuzzy jacket.
The black fuzzy jacket. Everybody loves my black fuzzy jacket. That's fuzzy. That's a fuzzy fucking jacket.
I gotta tell you, since we're talking about clothes, Max Maxwell wins for this year. Did you see the pictures of him at the Derby show, the one they just did?
Yeah.
He had a feathered sport coat.
I did not see that. I'm gonna have to go find it.
He was wearing all black with a white belt, and his sport coat was feathers.
I'll be the first one.
He wins.
I do love him. I don't know. It's a hate love, I guess.
Love hate. Great band.
That should be. Love hurts.
Remember that band, Love
Love
Hate?
bleeds.
How are you on radio and you don't remember the band Love Hate?
Because I had 700 million bands that were giving me CDs every day to play on the radio. I remember the ones that made me money and were friends with me. Don't remember.
All right, fine.
I know. What am I going to say?
Well, I got nothing.
Listen, your all's memory of bands are crushed. One of you all mentioned Crocus the other day. I was like, Jesus Christ, I haven't thought about Crocus forever. Isn't that a bad, weird, virus? I'm not sure. What is a Crocus?
Really terrible band.
Yeah, I remember.
From the 80s.
I remember that. What are you going to do? Sorry, I can't keep up with everything. What a good time. You have any other questions? Think I covered it all? Maybe too much? We're at 7 hours now, right? What time is it?
It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, we started this shit at 10:30. Oh my God, it's 1:30 in the morning.
It is 1:30.
I haven't been up till 1:30 in the morning without doing drugs, and I can't tell you how long. I gotta go home. I gotta cross the weird bridge and pay $2.
Okay, wait. Let's do this properly.
All right.
Me. Well, that's it, kids.
Go do shit.
That's the. Oh, why does everybody steal my thunder?
I stole your shit. Go do shit.
That's the show for the week. You got anything else? You got anything else you want to plug besides me?
Tuesday, the Crab Feast. First of all, follow me on Facebook. At the easiest way to find me is Scott Clark Louisville. Because you see any of the bourbon or liquor or wine events that I do over in Southern Indiana will be there. And I'm also Fake Scott Clark on both Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, and his phone number is 502
812-589
502
2493. Call me. I don't give a shit. Well, I'll just hang up on you. What the fuck?
Seriously, thank you for coming by. Thank you for
man.
taking
I
the
had
time.
so much fun.
I hope
I
you
looked forward. It's the first time I've ever been interviewed. It's amazing.
It's,
And you're really good at this.
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I'm having fun. I think I said it. I know you haven't heard it yet because it hasn't posted, but I said it on the show I did with Eric McEwen. The thing that I love about this the most is learning about people that I thought that I knew.
Yeah.
That, I know it seems stupid and cliche-ish, but
No.
cliches are cliches for a reason. Because I get to learn shit about people that I didn't know.
Interview people as a fan, not a fanboy. What do you want to know? What would people that listen to your podcast want to know?
I'm gonna give you an exclusive right now.
All right.
I get to hang out with somebody very soon. Not gonna say it now.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah, don't say anything.
I'm not going to say a word.
It's gonna be pretty hard for me not to fanboy.
Hulk Hogan. It's Hulk Hogan. Amen, brother. Listen, brother. If you're on acid and you're doing some wrestling, come see me, Betty. It's Hulk Hogan. Oh, Hulksters out there. Come on. I told you, every impersonation sounds like me.
Doing an impersonation. Not Hulk Hogan.
It's not Hulk Hogan.
But it is one of those things where I didn't know that I would even fall in this position, and I'm in this position, and I'm trying not to fanboy out.
It's tough.
It is.
Fanboy. They love it. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Don't suck their dick. But,
Ew.
But
That's gross.
everything that you thought about that person, that you as a fan wanted to know, what your listeners want to know.
No, I get
Nothing
that.
wrong with being a fanboy.
No, there's not. But I don't want to be that weirdo fanboy.
Hey, so remember that time where you were at the Beatles, Paul McCartney? That was great, man. That's great. It was great, wasn't it? Do you like being with the Beatles? It was great. Yeah. It's great, wasn't it? Don't be Chris Farley. Or be Chris Farley. I mean, he was pretty successful until he died of a cocaine overdose.
Softballs, brother.
Well, baseball. He's more. Have you seen my baseball?
Have you seen my wiener?
Have you seen my wiener? Franks and beans.
All right, that's it. We're out of here. Seriously, thank you for coming by.
Thank you, man. I had a great time.
I hope you did. And
Thank you, Todd O'Reilly and Stephen O'Meara.
That is the most fucked up shit ever.
Chucky Smith and Liam Weber and Rogers Jeff. It was great. Thank you all.
Money has gas.
Thanks, Monkey Gas.
High five in a microphone. Monkey gas. As I say at the end of every episode, go do some shit.
Go do shit.
Seriously, get the fuck out of here. So until next time, I will talk at you soon.